Yo, it's AK the Don, host of Don Talk Podcast. I'm here with Amanda Shea.
Yo, yo.
And I mean, a lot of you guys probably know who that is, but if you don't, you should know. Yo, I'm like, I'm first, I do just want to say I'm excited to even be here. Cause like being the I was like, I'm sorry, I'm super nervous. But
Don't be. It's just us. We're having a conversation.
Yeah, you right.
We just kicking it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things I'm still working on. Just like it's a conversation. But like, cause I've been going to events and stuff, and I see you guys, and I'm like I'm always with my homegirl. I'm like, that's Amanda Shea over there. Like you know, like I'm that guy.
That's so cute. Thank you.
It's dope. But
I appreciate you because you've been putting in a lot of work. I see what you're
doing. I'm trying.
I could swear.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I don't mind.
And I fuck with the vision. So like I appreciate that a lot coming from you. Yeah. Word. I see you definitely out here doing your thing and definitely supporting everybody in the scene. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. So for those people, who may not know you, just kind of give a little background on what you do and all
y'all
that.
Better know me. No, sir. Hey y'all. Hey, it's your girl Amanda Shea. What do I do? I'm an artist. Mm-hmm. I am a spoken word artist, dabbling into visual art. I need to stop saying dabbling because I've been doing this for a little while. So it's hard to talk about yourself.
Yeah.
And the things that you do. But to label them, I'm a radio show host. I'm an educator. I am public relations for Brandy Blaze. And if you don't say it like that, don't even try to talk to me. What else do I do? I'm a mentor. I'm just everywhere. I'm just trying to do anything and everything that has to do with art. I'm a creative.
Word. Yeah. So, I mean, there you have it. There's your little quick scoop on Amanda Shea. Let me see. So, how long have you been involved with everything? I want to say, like, I don't know what you may have started with, or as you've progressed throughout the years, starting with so what'd you start with? Let me ask that.
So I started from a little fetus in my mom's uterus. You can laugh, Abdul. Jabs is in the building, y'all. Pooh is here. Yeah. So you could be in the back. Like, listen, you hear. You're part of the conversation too, boo. What did I start with? Nah, for real. Like, I've been a creative since I was a kid. I actually just had an interview right before here. Shout out UMass Dartmouth for just having me up on their platform and asking me what it's like to be an artist and Black in America, which was a really hard question to answer, especially right now.
Right.
But I've been writing and creating since I was like 8 years old. It really has been something that has always been like a part of me. I've always been journaling. I've always had a diary. I loved that book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So I really felt like I could just be like an author of something at some point. So I would write, draw, record music. One of my favorite things to do in my pastime, because I'm an extrovert, introverted person. I've always kind of been like that. More so introverted when I was younger, more so than now, which is weird. As far as people, like just being around people, I love being around a lot of people right now. But when I was a kid, I would have my times like, okay, I'm gonna go chill with this people, and then I'm gonna go in my house and just be isolated in my room, doing nothing but creating. So I say all that to say, could you text this person and just let them know 3 p.m. is good? 3:30 is a go. So I've always been creating, but when I was younger, I just always had a knack for like re-recording songs and like rewriting my own lyrics to them. So like Brownstone, If You Love Me was my John. I rewrote those lyrics like at least 5 times. And mind you, like I was a kid, so I didn't really understand, like, I don't want to rain on his parade mean. I'm like, what does that mean? What is she talking about? Is this a relationship? I don't know. But I'm going to just put my dad grounded me for a whole summer and I'm mad type lyrics. You know what I mean? So I've always been like that. Now I feel like I just think, like, with the technology and things that are, like, emerging that are at our fingertips and the resources, I feel like I'm just more of a I want to do it all type of person. Whereas when I was a kid, I was just like, writing is my tool. Music is my tool. Now it's like, oh, well, I could actually do maybe film. And we'll get to that at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. Word. And then as an so you said you're an educator. What do you teach?
So it's a plethora of things. I develop a lot of different curriculums depending on, like, what the school needs are. But primarily, I teach spoken word poetry and public speaking.
Okay.
And, like, affirmation work and how to use writing as a healing mechanism.
Actually, yeah, I just had a conversation with somebody, I think 2 weeks ago. It was more focused on, like, spirituality. But, yeah, he talked about, like, affirmations. And that's something that I have looked into a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I really agree with, like, the whole affirmation, like, the process and, like, using that pretty much like what you just said, like, as a healing method. But yeah, that's dope. And okay, so what else? No, so you said a radio host. So what, like, talk about that a little bit.
Radio host. So I got my first start, I would say, in Boston as far as, like, radio and dabbling in. Shout out Crystal Flex, DJ Crystal Flex, because he really was the one who was like, you could totally do this. Like, you have a nice voice. It sounds good over the air. Like, why don't you, like, get into, like, being a co-host and like being a host person, a radio show personality. And I was like, personality, I hated that word because I was just like, it seems so, like, fake. And I'm just like, this is who I really am, though. I want to be who I am on the air. And who I am is, like, also cursing a lot. So I had to learn that I couldn't curse on the air because there's rules against that. But he gave me my first shot and I started at the base of Boston, which was really dope. And I did that for, like, a good year. And then we switched over, moved stations, and turned into the Urban Heat, 98.1. So I did that for a little while. And I loved the station. I think that where I was going, the direction I wanted to head in was really, like, music. And even though we had some interviews and we had some guests up who, like, did a plethora of different things, I think, like, the direction of the show was more so, like, you know, focused on, like, R&B type, slow jams type music. And, like, I love R&B and slow jams, but I was, like, heavily into the hip hop scene out here. So I was just like, I want rappers up here. Like, so we ended up parting ways. I linked up with Uncle Sam, shout out LFOD Radio. I became their co-host about, I want to say, like, 2018. Or, like, going towards the end of 2018. I'm still with them now to this day, which has been really dope, which is more aligned with what I wanted to do as far as, like, being on air. I wanted to, you know, interview artists, give artists a chance to, like, solicit their music. Some artists, that was their first time ever doing an interview. So it was like trying to get people that opportunity to get seasoned and, like, just get familiar with what was going on in the industry and, like, how to present yourself, I guess, to the industry and to your audience, which is always dope for me. I listen to a lot of interviews about people and, like, I really like the interviews that are more, like, on an intimate basis, like, where we're actually getting to know the person, also as well as the music. So I feel like LFOD provided and still provides that platform and that opportunity to do that. So you get to know a little bit about everything.
Word. Because that's what I like. When you see an artist and, you know, you kind of get to learn them as a person and, like, you know, if they're comfortable, you know, like, sharing, like, not really a vulnerability, but, like, they're not afraid to to tell you about them. You know, so like you learn them and like you can connect with them a little bit more. So that's dope.
For sure. And shout out the Boston Music Awards because this is our second time being nominated.
Yep.
So
make sure you vote. Make sure you vote.
Yeah,
Yo,
vote
go ahead and do that.
You know, there's a lot of homies in that category.
Yeah.
Like, so just vote, period.
Right.
But like vote for LFOD radio too. Shout out It's Lit Boston. I know they in that category. Shout out the Museum TV. I don't know who else is in there off the top of my head, but those are the two that I can think of right now.
Yeah, I think it was you three. Yeah, definitely like just go on and vote for.
It's a tough category, man.
Yeah. So I do want to congratulate you on the show. Well, one on the show last night that you did, because that was super dope. Like yeah,
thank you.
Being like. Because kind of like I said earlier, like seeing on your story and Eva's story, you, her, and Notebook P on the studio, it was like they're up to something. Like what's going on? Like, you know, and then seeing you guys perform, it was like, oh snap! Like this is what they were doing, and like it came out so well. So
thank
you.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Yo, okay, so like. But like that was everything. I don't even know where to start. So like I guess I would start with the session. So most people shout out, first of all, Alexander Pade. Like if it was not for Alex, that wouldn't have even happened. Also shout out Mike Vazin. He's incredible. He's from Colorado. So basically what happened was Alex like had hit me and was like, yo, so I know you saw what we're doing with the live sessions. I want to bring you up on one. And mind you, this is like after me seeing YN Prop on there, me seeing Papa Don up on there, me seeing Najee Janey up there. So I was like, bro. And I said it just like this. I was like, bro, I do spoken word poetry, bro. You know this. And he was like, yeah, but like, Alex, I love you because his mind is just like so just genius like because he just wants to just create. He may think like I don't know if he knows what he has like in store yet or he just goes with the flow. Either way, I don't know what the formula is. I need to figure out the recipe, but he just knows what he's doing as far as collaborating with artists. He knows who to pick. So I was like, bro, I don't know. What are you finna do? Because, like, I see what you're doing on the show. Like, basically, he's producing beats on the spot. And then people are jumping on the tracks right then and there. And I'm like, it's not my je ne sais quoi. Like, when I'm writing, I write from, like, a very emotional space. And I'm usually alone. And most of the time because I'm dabbling into putting my spoken word in front of instrumentals. I think people who have came to my shows have seen me do that at least once or twice. It's different because I'm picking them based off of the emotion that I'm in. So I couldn't fathom what it would look like to go into a studio and him create something on the spot. And like, what if I don't like it, right? And like, what if I can't write something to it? Or, you know, these are all the things. And imposter syndrome is real too, y'all. Just so you know, don't let it fool you. You may see me out here doing a lot of things, but like imposter syndrome will sneak up on me from time to time. And that was one of those moments I got intimidated. And I was like, I don't know, Alex, I don't know how this is going to work out. And he was just like, I think you should come up. And he was like, better yet, he was like, I give the artist a choice. Either they can come by themselves or they can bring somebody with them or they can recommend somebody for the next session. Why don't you bring people with you? And I was like, okay. I'm like, how many? And he was like, up to 2. And I was at least 2. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, do you have any artists in mind? He was like, I'll think of some. He was like, but I want you to choose. I was like, well, the first 2 people that come to my mind are Eva Davenport and Notebook P. For 2 reasons. One, I think they're incredible vocalists. And 2, like, I haven't really worked with them. I've been starting to work with Eva, but I've never worked with Notebook P, and I felt like this was a good opportunity to do so. So I was like, and on top of it, I was like, well, I can recommend them to do their own live sessions, and they would probably kill it because they're also vocalists, and I'm seeing a lot of more rappers rather than singers on the live sessions from what I've noticed up to this point. So he was like, okay, we'll hit them up and let me see what they say. Long story short, I go, well, long story longer. I go to Randolph, I go to Lynn, I scoop them up. We're in the whip, and I'm telling them the whole ride we're listening to Jhené Aiko. If you have not listened to Jhené Aiko's new album, if you have not seen her NPR Tiny Desk, this is not a plug. Jhené does not know me. I'm not getting paid to do this at all. I just am an advocate for her because I love her so much and her artistry. We were listening to her the whole way up and down. And I was like, it would be kind of cool to make like a kind of like a Jhené type of vibe. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I just want y'all to know that like I picked y'all too because like I may need y'all to carry me vocally. You know what I'm saying? Because like I might not be able to write something. So y'all might have to make some shit without me. Y'all got me though, right? So this was the pep talk in the whip. We get to Alex's crib. We're chilling. We meet Mike virtually. He joins the session. It just started from there. Like, I think it took us, we had a couple of tech issues in the beginning. It took us maybe like an hour to get into the groove. We come back. We're sitting there chatting it up. And I hear Alex start making like this beat. And it was like, it was just so dope. And then I hear Mike get on the guitar and he played this riff. It was like, and that's all I heard. And then he was like, okay, so I'm gonna be back, guys, in like 10 minutes. I'll be back and I'll have something worked out to this little beat. And I was just like, oh, that was it? Okay, cool. So he goes, and I'm like, I just have this going on in my head the whole entire time. And I was just like, yo, that kind of sounds like a little sad. You know what I mean? Like, it's a uppity but kind of sad tone.
Right.
So I just started writing like, meeting you changed my life. That first night we stared at each other under the stars. This is magnetic. And I just wrote the poem. And Notebook and Eva are looking at me and they were like, oh shit, did you get something? I was like, I think I got the poem. So Eva's like, yo, how are you going to say it? Like, what you going to do? So I just read it and she was like, oh, and Notebook was like, that's dope. And I was like, do y'all think y'all can write something around it? And Eva was like, yo, I've never written a song off of a poem, but like, let's do it. So I was like, okay. So then she starts writing her chorus, her verse. Thank you, boo. Her verse. I'm like, the chorus. We ain't even there yet. She starts writing her verse. And then she stops and she asks me, she's just like, what is this poem like, why did you write those words? And I was like, I don't know, like maybe it came from a place of like just thinking about ending a relationship, but you really like love the person and you had all these plans to do these things with this person, and now for whatever reason or for a reason you have to take your space from this person, but you're hoping that the love that you held on to and you have for this person, maybe you can get it next lifetime. Maybe it's just not in this realm and just in another realm. And she was like, what? And then we started laying down our tracks, laying down our parts. I spit the poem first. And then Notebook was like, okay, heard Eva and started writing. And then after I heard Notebook and him lay down his, I was like, I feel like I hear some kind of like rap in the beginning or like some kind of talking. And like, shout out to Capella, because Capella is an amazing artist. And the way that she the way that she performs reminds me so much of like a Jhené mixed with No Name. Like if them two had like an artist child, it would be Capella in my mind, because it's so effortless. And for some reason, I could just hear her voice. So I feel like she inspired what I did in the beginning without even being in the room.
That's real.
And I actually sent her the song and was like, yo, I was channeling you. Cause the way she just raps, it's like water.
Yeah.
And I heard the never thought believe in you. Last 2 years been unbelievable. Sacrificed everything to be with you. And I was just like, oh, this is okay. So I did it. I was like, Notebook, I don't know how to rap. I use a lot of words. Like, can you help me cut some of this stuff out? Because I just had too much. Like,
Right.
I don't know how to count bars still. Like, I'm trying to learn. It's hard. You musicians and music people are way different than spoken word artists. We're very wordy, and we can like cut and pause and inflect and do all these things. Like, we set the tone, whereas there's a structure that you all are writing to, which I feel like is a huge difference than what I do. So it's challenging for me. So I was like, we got to cut this down. And I just started getting it. And Notebook was like, okay. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment. Like, we were literally in there for 3 hours together. And Mike, even though he was virtual, like, he was still a part of like the cultivation of like what just happened. And it was just so organic. Like, we literally were writing with each other, like in connection with each other, based off of a poem. Like, I've never heard of that before, at least in my experience. I've never heard of that before. So for me, it was like, oh, we're on to something, and this is going to sound pretty lit. And Notebook's voice is like butter. And I was just like, this is dope. So when we heard the rough draft, we were like, oh shit, this sounds dope. Then they like put their little razzle dazzle on it, and we heard it, and I was like, this sounds like it could be on the radio. And I started subjecting it out, like, to people. I was like, yo, this is what we did. Yo, this is what. I had so many different reactions, and it was so beautiful. I had sent it to my mom, and my mom was like, this is really good. She was like, because she's in this new relationship with this guy that they're reunited after like 15 years. So she was like, this to me feels like the next lifetime. And I was just like, I'm very overprotective of my mama. So I'm like, who's this man that you think this song is referring to? And then I sent it to 2 of my other friends, which low-key, high-key was like a setup, because they were going through a breakup. So I was like, let me send this out to them and see how they feel. And they got back to me, and one of them cried and the other one was like, you almost had me crying, and you made me think about this person. And the other person was like, you made me think about this person. I was like, oh, that's different reactions. You know, like, some people are thinking of it as what its intent is, which is the breakup. But other people, like my mother, are looking at it like, oh, I found my lifetime partner. So it was, for me, that was a universal thing. I was like, this is beautiful. And for it to be named Next Lifetime, and like Erykah Badu is like the shit, okay? Like, one of the many people that I look to for inspiration. It just made sense. And then to come to last night, if I tell you that was so last minute.
Really?
Yo, it was so last minute. Like, so, okay, this is how it all happened. I'm going to try to keep my story short, because I feel like I be talking a lot, and I also am, like, my mouth is parched. So, 2 days ago, when was the show? Last night, Wednesday, we get an email, and basically Alex is like, yo, we want to start thinking about like releasing the track. Like, me and Vazen have been talking, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, okay. And he's like, yo, I sent it to Shea Pope. And I was like, wait, I feel like I know that name. Why did I get a link to a reaction video of Shea Pope listening to our song, like, in real time on his show, like, with the comments going crazy? I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, when did this happen?
Right.
And I was like, this is fucking dope. So I send a message to Notebook and Eva, and I'm like, yo, did y'all see like the reaction video? Did y'all even know that this was even gonna be sent? Because I'm just being told that it was. And they were like, yo. And Eva was like, why don't we preview the song for the first time ever at my upcoming show on Friday? And I was like, wait, upcoming show on Friday? I was like, at the drive-in? Hell yeah. So we're hype. We go to rehearsal literally the next day, and we're in rehearsal, and we're listening to this incredible band, and Eva just kill this shit. And we're like, me and Notebook are just looking at each other like, yo, we're really about to do this. We're really about to do this. It was such a beautiful moment. Like, when I tell you, like, from the moment we got into the studio to the whole car ride there to the studio, all the way back. Then for the rehearsal, the conversations that have been happening in the group chat, because all three of us are like on group chat now, to have these conversations on a regular basis, to then be able to perform last night at the drive-in. It was just magical for me. It was one of those like moments that you'll never forget. It's like, it's just huge for me. And honestly, I wasn't expecting all of that. Like to pull up and see that big ass screen and then the stage lit up the way that it was, the experience, because me and Notebook were like super nervous. And I was also in a dress and I was just like, it's going to be cold. So I want to sit in the car a little bit till it's our time. And he was like, okay. Like we turned on the radio and was just like really listening from like a consumer perspective and like as admiration for our friend who's got this incredible opportunity and looks like a fucking superstar. Right. Like Eva is a superstar, like period dot. Like just to be able to see that was so dope. I was like, yo, I'm so happy for her. I was really like the whole time trying not to cry because it was just so impactful. Like it really, really was, to have Ava Sophia up there, Kareem, Kalea, to have your friends also be on the stage of like, it's just so beautiful. Lady Ice was also a surprise. I didn't know Lady Ice was going to be there last night. That was like a nice little surprise for me too, because I was just like, oh shit, I thought we knew the set list. Clearly we did not. So it was just really beautiful to see everybody do their thing, to see our friends like Adonis be a part of the Mad Music Mill, basically all Mad Music Mill, and like the team work together and the musicians. It was just really dope to see that. I was like, yo, we need to keep this here. Like it was just incredible. And Notebook sang his ass off. Everybody did their thing. It's just beautiful. It's really cool and it's a really cool and humbling moment to know people personally and be able to see their growth and evolution as artists personally. Like, it's not like I'm just watching it from the outside. Like, I know what they're going through in their daily lives. I know what trials and tribulations that they have to overcome, and they still persevere and push through for moments like last night. It was just really dope and so organic. Like, I don't know how fast she pulled together her background singers with the other three. But like with us, I know it was like really 2 days. We literally had 2 days. And it all started off with the interview. It was like the universe. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, well, here's the reaction video. Oh, well, maybe we should, preview it live. The song's not out. Like, it's not out. We haven't done anything for the song yet, really. So it was just really beautiful to be able to have that live experience. I was nervous as hell. It's the first time I'm trying stepping out of my comfort zone and trying something new too. I don't rap. I don't sing song. I don't sing rap. I don't do any of that stuff, and I'm really trying to because I feel like, why not? And if it sounds good, it feels good to you, like, why not just do it? Like, fuck labels and like what kind of artists and boxes people want to put you in. Like, if you feel something, do it. So it was just one of those moments where I was like, I'm nervous. I don't know what this is going to sound like. And I suffer from anxiety every single day, social anxiety too. So coupled with that and then being on this big stage, it was a lot. It felt very overwhelming, but so beautiful at the same time. I felt like I was going to cry. I think that's why at the end, my voice was like cracking and like, you could hear the emotion in my voice because I was just so captivated to be up there and look to my left and see all my friends like so happy and smiling. It was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Not because like I was excited to even like as soon as she posted like the event on her Instagram, I was like, yeah, like I'm going. Because like I
as you should.
Yeah, like but just being there, because I invited one of my friends, and he, like, we had a conversation a while ago. He said he doesn't like live bands, like he wouldn't go see a live band and stuff.
He's bugging.
That's what we're saying. I was like, why would
tripping.
you not want to see a live? Like what? Like that's, I don't know. I think they're better. Like it's like they can freestyle a little more. Like there's a lot that goes into it. But I brought him last night, and after the performance, he was like, "Yo, bro, thank you for bringing me," because like it was just he enjoyed it more. He was like, yo, like I didn't know that they could do stuff like this. Like I didn't know that they could manipulate everything. Like they don't have to go exactly how the track is laid. Like they can do their own thing and like it still sounds good. So yeah, he enjoyed it. I was like, yo, bro, like I appreciate you for even being open enough to pull up. So yeah.
Thank Eva and Notebook for encouraging me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was all them. They were like, yeah, come do it. And I was like, oh, I said yes, but I'm here and I said yes. Mm-hmm. It was really dope. There's not enough words. Definitely one of the highlights mm-hmm. of my career thus far. Like there's been so many. And as we were talking about before we even came on, it's like, it's hard. Thank you for bringing it up and thank you for allowing me to talk about it, because I don't think I give myself that time to like pause and mm-hmm. reflect. It's like, okay, what's next?
Right.
Like even this morning it was like, okay, I have this interview. Okay, I have another interview. Okay, now I'm going to go into a recording session. Okay, and then what's next for tomorrow? Oh yeah, you have a show. Remember to prep. So it's always like, what's the next mm-hmm. thing? And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we aren't slow and like pause for a second and congratulate ourselves and like celebrate our wins. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Especially in these times right now, it's really hard. It's hard sometimes to be happy that you're still thriving in COVID because mm-hmm. So many of your peers aren't. It's really hard. How do you accept all these wins when people around you are still taking L's? It's right. hard. So I think like a little bit of not stopping, slowing down. I feel like a little bit of guilt sometimes for still being able to do some or have the opportunities that I have. And like, I think imposter syndrome, like I said before, is really real. So I think for me, I'm glad to have these moments and be able to talk about it and have interviews like this, because it's just, I almost just cried just now because I'm just like, damn, it was really beautiful. Like when I think about it from the whole perspective as the whole process unfolded, and it literally was only like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it feels longer than that because so many things have transpired and so many other things have happened in that time frame that it feels like it's been forever. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, big shout out Mad Music Mill, everyone involved, because that was beautiful. Like Nubian Drive-In, like everybody that was involved.
That was crazy.
That was very beautiful.
The music sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, like amazing. Like people were cranking it up in their cars, but then people like, I forgot I had a sunroof. I was like, Notebook, we have a sunroof. We have a sunroof. We can come out the sunroof.
I said the same thing. I was like, because I was in my car, but like the sunroof thing doesn't open. I was like, I wish this opened so I could just like, oh my God.
Next summer, I'm telling you, like, we should keep this here.
Yes.
Like, anything that we can do as creatives to keep that space there, it's just really dope. Mm-hmm. Like, and even if, like, from a performer perspective, it's just dope to be able to do something like that. Yeah. But then also, like, being there and just hearing it and vibing out, you could do whatever you want in your car. You know what I'm saying? You just chilling. Mm-hmm. It's just a vibe. It's right. a whole vibe. And honestly, they have so much space. Mm-hmm. Like there could have been so many more cars
exactly,
there.
Yeah. I thought it was, I'm thinking it's going to be like packed, because when we got there, I think it was like 7:30 or so. So I was like, we probably going to be like towards the back and stuff. But we still, like, we had a really great view of where we were. So I was like, yo, this is amazing.
They got a little food truck situation going out there. They were serving drinks and stuff. It was like a little vibe for real. Like, I was like, this could be the new spot. And I feel blessed because it's literally 3 blocks away from my house.
Yeah.
So I could legit like, walk there.
Like,
even though I couldn't get in because I still need my car because it's driving. That's the only thing. Because, like, they got to figure out something as far as like people who are pedestrians, because like you could watch it from the street.
Right.
It's right there. Mm-hmm. Maybe give them a chair. Pull up a chair.
Yeah, something.
You know what I'm saying? Do something.
Little section.
Little beach chair section. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like for those who do not have vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So are there any? Do you have like any upcoming? Well, I know you said you have a show tomorrow, but
I
like
do.
anything else like aside from that, or like upcoming projects that you'll be like working on and
Oh,
stuff.
you trying to get me to spill the tea?
Yeah, nah, if like
we sipping coffee, we ain't sipping tea.
Fair enough. Yeah, like upcoming shows and stuff.
I do actually. Tomorrow I will be performing with Rebel Cause Inc. I'm hype as hell for the show because it's the first time me and DJ Washam have like been on the same bill, just me and Sham.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting how that works out. I'm like, damn, we've known each other for so long and this is the first time it's happened. So I'm excited. You already know that's gang. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be dope. And what's really cool is I have like little intermissions, which is something that I've never really done live. So like you'll get a little break and then I'll come back. So like that's kind of cool. It's funny to me because when I think about shows, like I never have a set list unless like I have to, like if there's lighting and cue and cameras and, you know, stuff like that. Like I'm really cool with making like a set list because you kind of have to. But like shows like tomorrow are like some of my favorites to do because I can just literally go in there and work off of like a vibe. You know what I mean? And I think that's like the exciting part about shows like Rebel Cause Inc. because they're just like, okay, you could do whatever you want to do, and I'm like, bet. So however I wake up tomorrow is like is what I'll perform.
Yeah,
I never really like choose the poems before the show, which is interesting and nerve-wracking as hell. I dropped FaceTime, which is the second like installment to like, well, I should really say the first installment to this 3-part series that I'm trying to do. It's weird talking about it because it means so much to me and I get so nervous. But in 2017 I dropped Origin, which is like a visual poem. It was the first time that I wanted to basically intertwine all different art mediums into one another. So I had photography, film, body paint artists, and spoken word poetry and a live performance.
Was that it's like the yellow?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was like 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Really beautiful. That was like my baby. It was really just an idea. Shout out once again to Eva Davenport, because it was at her Arts Underground event where I met Afrola Productions, and they do photography, videography, amazing work. They actually took a lot of the pictures for Arts Underground too. That was the first time I met Miranda Ray, and me and Miranda Ray met at Arts Underground, and Miranda saw me perform, and after that she hit me up to ask me to be on her Please Excuse My Baggage EP. So that's how that like happened. So shout out to Eva. She's definitely connected me to people that I didn't know. So I collaborated with them and was like, so I want to do some kind of like visual for this, but I don't know exactly like how I want that to come across. And we just sat down and we talked, and they were just like, well, what are your ideas? I told them the concept. I was like, I kind of want photos with my words next to them. I want documentary type style, I feel like, to tell this story. And what they did with that was absolutely incredible. Like, I didn't anticipate them to include like the talking that went between me and the other 2 body paint artists. Shout out to Skippy. Most people know her as Laura, but they know her Skippy as the peanut butter. And shout out Erica Femino. She's absolutely amazing. Shout out Far Out Studios, because that's where we did it. And we were just having a conversation about what the poem Origin was about. And Erica was like, I've never heard that term mulatto before. Like, what does that mean? So we were just talking about what being multicultural means to me, and like basically my childhood throughout the process. So they body painted me with like Africa, the United States, and Portugal on my back. It was really dope. It was just a dope experience. So after I did that, I was like, this is kind of dope. I kind of want to put my poems to film now. Like, what would spoken word look like with visuals to it? And how would I translate that? I could do it in like a storytelling type of vibe, or I could do it whichever way I want to. And FaceTime is a poem that I wrote while in COVID because we were on FaceTime and Zoom all the time.
Right.
And it really had me looking at like my face and my insecurities about just being pretty and what pretty means to me and what image is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to do these things. I want to do these films, but I don't want to necessarily center myself. How can I get people to pay attention to just the art that I'm sharing as opposed to attaching it to Amanda Shea? Like, of course, it's going to be Amanda Shea. It's my voice, but not my face. I think where I'm at in my career, it's like, I really want to know who fucks with the art and, you know, for what it is.
Right.
As opposed to like maybe what I represent. Because I represent anything to anybody depending on who they are, right? So I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to be like, yo, are y'all really listening to the poems? That's it. And like, what are you getting off of those? And like, what do these visuals speak to you? How do you see it? So I asked Jay Hunt, who's an amazing,
phenomenal.
Y'all should know who Jay Hunt is. But he's absolutely incredible photographer, videographer, just does incredible work. And I was like, I really want to work on this project with you. What do you think? And he was like, hell yeah, Amanda Shea all day. I got you. And I was just honored that we were even able to schedule time because he's a very busy person. I asked Amber Sublime Love, who's also another poet, one of my really good friends, and also a makeup artist, to be in it. So I was like, can you basically act these roles out and do this for FaceTime? So I have another installment coming out on December 1st called Entangled. And most people have heard this poem, have seen me perform this poem. The last place that I did perform Entangled was actually at the Oberon at the Afro Density show that they had. It was absolutely incredible. And I bring out chains, and I had Amber in the wedding dress and wrapped her up. Like, I'm really trying to just step out of my comfort zone and bring other elements of art into it. Theater is one of them. So I was like, how will this translate over into film? Entangled's the only one that I'm in. And then I'm releasing another one. 11/1 I'm releasing Entangled.
Okay.
And then I'm releasing another one. You're the only one who knows this. I haven't said any dates to anybody else. So
I'll
there's
keep this
that.
on the wraps. I appreciate that.
12/1 I will be releasing Resilience, which was filmed not by Jay Hunt. Entangled and FaceTime but Resilience was filmed by Danny Reyes of Maze Radio. He goes by Sir Reyes on Instagram, and Figs as well. They both came and did the videography for that, and it's absolutely insane. So I'm not in that at all. I just play like director for that. It was just really dope. I just want to take these poems and do something different, show spoken word artists that we don't have to just be at the mic, especially right now in COVID, where we don't have the opportunity to be on the mic. So it was really like beautiful for me. I think Universe had something in order because I was already thinking about this before COVID had happened. And I think where we're at now in this climate, everything is visuals, everything is video. People are home, they're sitting down, they're watching Netflix, they're watching stuff on YouTube, they're listening to podcasts. So it makes sense to like add that type of medium to what I'm doing. Also, like, our poems are fucking dope. Like, why can't we take one? We're always constantly like, we need to be creating. Why don't you just take something that you've created and just pull it back a little bit? You can take one thing and make it 5 different things, even though it surrounds the same thing, period. Like, why do we have to keep forcing ourselves to like be reinventive? Like, well, maybe not reinventive, but always be like in the creative zone. Because sometimes we're not emotionally, sometimes we just don't, we're not there right now. We're maybe going through too much. We might be too busy. Peel back the layers. It's like an onion. Peel back the layers. It started with a poem, but now it has a visual to it. It could be also an audio project. You know what I mean? It could be just photography, and I could just do images for it. You know what I mean? Like, dissect your work and do different things with it and put it out there in the world.
Word. I agree with that. I I do. So when you're coming up with content, what's your best form of inspiration?
I think I have several. So like one of the main things I go to is books. Like I'm a reader. I was just having this conversation with Jabs actually about having a TV in the room and stuff, and how like I haven't had a TV in my room in over 3 years because I feel like it promotes me to watch TV and not read.
Right.
So I read a lot. I listen to music. I listen to a lot of my friends because like my friends are all artists and some of the stuff that they're working on is absolutely incredible. So it's like, whoa, that's inspiration. Museums are always a thing. I definitely want to go to the MFA and see the Basquiat. I have to.
I'm looking at tickets right now. Like I got it on my phone.
I have to. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I do. I love music videos. I'm a music head. My dad taught me everything I know about music, and I love all different types of genres. So that's another thing that I do. I love videos, like old school videos, all of Missy, all of Luda, all of Timbaland, like all of it. Like I've always loved creative stuff. Like even just saying Luda now, I can think of the stand up video where he had the huge sneaker on and was like stomping the floor. Like I just like little details like that. So that's where I draw my inspiration from. And now we can like see museums virtually, which is super fucking dope. You don't have to physically go there, even though I like to physically go there. So now you can see the National African American Museum virtually. So I'll go and peek in there because I've actually been there in person. So I'll just go peek in there and go on a certain floors and certain areas. The music room is like one of my favorites. It has like the huge ship of Parliament that they used to use on the stage inside the museum. So I'll go and like look at that, or the Bootsy Collins outfits, or the NAACP award that Whitney Houston donated to the, like, it's just crazy. Like Tupac's journals are in there. Biggie's writings are in there. Saul Williams is in there. So I just like go and look at that because that's what I feel like legacy means to me. And that inspires me.
So do you go on the website for that? Like, how do you
go on the website?
And okay, that's
Take
interesting.
A gander.
Yeah, I gotta do that. All right, let me see. Yeah, so I have like a couple more. So why do you why do you do what you do? What kind of what's your driving force?
Legacy. Legacy. I think, and passion. I love what I do. That's why it doesn't feel like work to me. Like, don't get me wrong, child. I'm tired. Like, sis is tired, okay? Auntie needs a nap, okay? I'm tired. But like tired just in the body sense, but not tired mentally, if that makes sense. I'm passionate about art. I love what I do. I love working with other people. I love creating. I love writing new stuff. I'm constantly in a space of going through emotions and going through feelings. And I still have a lot of more feelings to do. My rising is in Cancer. I'll be like gonna claim that, but yeah, that's that. So I still have like a lot of like emotions to get through, but like I just love what I do. I love it. Like I couldn't imagine doing anything else, you know, and coming from an accounting background, that's what I did for 10 years. I was not happy. This makes me happy regardless of like the paychecks. I mean, granted the paychecks are nice. But I really love doing what I'm doing. I've always been somebody who wants to support other people too. So I think it's a really good opportunity for me to do that in my daily life every single day, sharing resources with people. There are people that have like gatekeeper mentalities. I've never understood that because I'm just like, yo, like we should be helping to create and build each other and unite one another. Like there's enough sun to shine for everybody. 100%. So I don't understand why like that mentality is a thing, but I have also experienced that not just in Boston, but everywhere, you know, and in any type of field for whatever reason. Right. So I was like, I just pride myself on making sure that I contribute in the ways that I possibly can. That's not like toxic or harmful or dangerous to myself or anybody else. I just love doing it. And legacy is important to me. When I think about Tupac being studied in colleges and universities and people like looking at his lyrics and really taking them apart, that to me is like pathetic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can erase so much, but you can't erase the power of the word.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's a different type of inspiration. People are always calling me like an influencer, and I'm like, that's the wrong I word. Like, thank you, but like, I want to leave an impact. And I feel like legacy allows you to do that. Like, what you do within the time that you're here on this earth, that's your impact. That creates your legacy, because you'll forever be remembered. And I know like some people, when I say that, they look at it like, oh, that's kind of like an egotistical. And I'm like, nah, I mean it in a really like genuine way. Like, I really hope that my words transform people. I really hope that my words motivate and encourage people, that like, if I can make it, you can make it. Go after what you want to go after. Do what you love to do unapologetically, regardless of what people say to you, regardless of who supports you. Just do what you love to do, and the universe gives back. That's very, very real. You know, what you put out is what you get back. You being a shitty person, you gonna get shitty shit. You being a great person and loving person, caring person, mindful person, we're all still human. So in whichever ways that looks like for people, just be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And I feel like that also creates legacy. We have hometown heroes, people who necessarily might not be completely famous. I don't know what people, famous to some people can be so many different things. Yes. But like, I call them hometown heroes, people who have been known in the city for doing good work, for helping people, for contributing their livelihood over to a better cause, bigger cause for everybody overall. That's real humanitarian shit. That's all I want.
Respect. I guess the last question I really have is what would be your advice to someone who's like just starting in the creative field?
How much time we got? We gonna be here all day. What would I say? First of all, like I said before, if it speaks to you and it makes you feel something, do it. Just do it. Don't worry about what the naysayers are saying. And even to the people who have families that may not support what you do, do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, like, you live with you. You don't live with nobody else. You die with you. That's real. Like, you live and you die with you. For me, I'd rather be able to go to bed at night knowing that I've been living the best version of myself. Also, I'm a work in progress, right? But like, being the best that I possibly can be, and doing what I think is right by my moral compass and my integral clock, that to me means more to me than 10 people hating me out on the street or not supporting me out on the street. That don't matter to me, because at the end of the day, you live with you, no one else. So I would say that. I would also say, find your community. First, before I say that, find your identity. For those who don't know, like, how to just find yourself and how you identify, because that's important to not giving a fuck about what people think too. Right. When you're secure with you, you really don't give a fuck about what other people say. Period. You may a little bit, but it ain't gonna kill you if you out here insecure and you sitting here listening to what everybody gotta say about your shit. That ain't it. So find yourself, find what you love to do and do it. And also, like, shit, just have fun and live life. Like, we don't know how much time we have on this earth. We don't know where we may go after here. A lot of people believe in a lot of different things. So live in your purpose, because most people don't find their purpose because they're too busy living for other people's purposes or living out what other people expect them to live out. Like, nah, find your purpose, live in your purpose all the way. Like I said, most people don't find that. I almost didn't. I almost didn't. And I feel like right now I'm living my true purpose. This was what I was meant to do. Period. Dot. Not a day goes by that I doubt it. There was a whole year that I was like, did I make the right decision? I used to make 70, 80K a year, like, and now I'm making $25,000 and I have to drive Lyft now and balance, and I have 2 children who happen to be teenagers. You know what I mean? So I'm like, am I doing the right thing? And it took a year to get that out my system. A year. You know what I mean? A year. And then finally I'm here and I'm like, nah, I did the right thing because I'm actually happy. Like 1000% happy. This makes me happy in my heart. When I think about art, it makes me cry because that's how important it is to me. Period.
Word. Oh man, that was deep. That's real stuff. I'm like,
thanks.
I'm
like,
taking all that in. That was good.
Thank you.
Any shout outs?
To everybody in Boston. Like, no, sir. Just shout out everybody that's doing what they're doing. Shout out everybody who's really just like living in their full purpose. Shout out everybody who's giving opportunities to people and mentioning people's names in rooms that they don't even know yet. Shout out to everybody who is just sharing resources with one another, collaborating with one another, who are standing on their actual truth. That, you know, shout out to everybody who's still alive and living life. You know, because there were moments in COVID that I felt like I wasn't living all the way. You know what I mean? So just shout out to people who are in a tough spot, who are still trying to figure it out. Shout out to the people who feel like they don't know where they're going. You know what I mean? Like, we have to shout out and love on them because they need that. Shout out to anybody who doesn't have a warm home to go to. Shout out to everybody who is lacking food or lacking healthcare. Just shout out to everybody in this world right now. Shout out to Nigeria, Lagos. Like, what is happening right now is terrible. Shout out to all of the Black and brown people. Shout out trans lives. Just shout out everybody. Like, the world needs to heal. And I feel like art will do that. I think vulnerability will heal the world. Vulnerability will heal the world. It'll remind us of our humanness again. Because that's all we are, is we're just human beings existing in this earth the way that it is right now. But we have the power to change anything that we want. So shout out to everybody who's a creative. We need y'all. We need y'all. And just shout out to you for me up here for this dope ass interview. Like, this was dope, and it all got like kind of cloudy and somber real quick, but it was really deep. I thank you for reminding me of like what I do, and I'm just grateful. So thank you.
Of course.
So shout out to you.
Shout out to you. Thank
you. Jabs being in the building, my love.
Oh man, yo, Amanda Shea, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.